There you are. All right. All right. Let's see who we got in here tonight. Well, we'll get some people in here. When you come in, just put in the chat room that you're here. I guess I'll see who all's here tonight. Welcome in. If you're here, just type in the chat that you're here, so I know who's here. We got a lot to talk about. If we're going to be talking about wildlife management areas here in South Carolina. If you're a duck hunter, and you don't have to be from South Carolina, but if you are a duck hunter in South Carolina, get your buddies, call them, tell them to get in here. We sit here all the time and we complain and complain and complain about not having enough ducks, not enough public areas, no food, no water, so forth and so forth. And then when it boils right down to it, everybody just complains. Nobody's sitting there and do anything. Well, tonight we're going to do something. So if you're in here, if you come in, let me know you're here. Also, hit that little, if you look down on your YouTube channel, you'll see a little thumbs up button. Hit that button for me. Or thumbs down. Really doesn't matter. I don't care. Either way. It just helps the algorithm out a little bit. Looks like I got one person in here so far. I'm going to try to get a handful more people in here. Oh, we just jumped to 4. Get some people in here. And once we get a handful in here, we're going to start talking about it. But if you're a duck hunter, this is the right now. This is what we need to be talking about, is the wildlife management areas. So if you're in here, give me a shout out in the chat room. Let me know you're here. Hey, Jeff. Yes, we do have a few birds that are using Santee. If that came off the migration report, is that the little app that people can put in there? Colby Waldrop, how you doing? There's a few birds out there. I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's nothing. There are a few birds out there. We'll get into that as well. But like I said, if you're a South Carolina duck hunter, and you're in here and you're just going to sit here and listen, get your friends, call them up, tell them to get in here, because I got some information I think you're going to find very interesting. Extremely interesting, rather. I'm going to turn this little light up a little bit. There we go. I won't be able to read all my notes. Okay, we got 6 people here. I'm gonna go ahead and start here. If you're a follower of this channel, which I do appreciate 100%, I just put a video out Sunday talking about the Sam Worth WMA. If you watch the video, say Charles. If you watch the video, hey Craig, if you watch the video, then you got a lot of information off of that. If you watch the video and then watch the video after, you actually got a lot more information. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and some new stuff. But to give an overview, if you haven't watched the video, just a brief overview of it. Samworth WMA has been, it's an island in the middle of this delta. And hey, Ron. And guys, if I miss you coming in, I'm sorry, because I'm kind of like paying attention to the notes and whatnot. But it's an island in the middle of this delta, the Waccamaw Neck. And historically, it is a duck paradise. It always has been. Samworth has been in existence for since the 1770s. So there's always been, it's been there for a long time. And this was a rice culture. They grew rice there. But a guy by the name of Thomas Samworth bought it in 1945. He continued to make improvements and continue this as a waterfowl impoundment, so to speak. In 1962, he gifted it to the state of South Carolina. Now, since then, I'm not saying it's been going downhill since, but it has been going downhill. And what has happened, there was a major breach in the levees, the dike systems, the water control devices, the bridges, hurricanes, storms, all this kind of stuff. Just ruined it. Well, instead of repairing it and fixing it, it kind of went by the wayside. And instead of being able to flooding it and planting or either using moist soil, this area has now grown up into white marsh grass and sesbania. Now, white marsh grass, unless I have a biologist in here that can tell me any different, it is basically a cut grass, a sawgrass. Hey, Charles. So it is, it's worthless. Okay. RD's in here. Good. Sesbania, aka a coffee bean. Of course, it's not coffee, but it's just a name that's been given. It doesn't provide hardly any nutritional value. Now, I have heard that ducks will eat the seeds from it, but it's really not that big of a nutritional value for the duck. Now, what sesbania will do is provide cover. Hey, Nick, how you doing? Do I stay in Charleston? No, I do not. I am in South Carolina, but I don't stay in Charleston. So, sesbania will provide cover for ducks. But if it's overgrown in sesbania, it's worthless. And this is this whole property. This whole property, 995 acres, is now in either white marsh or sesbania. Now, saying that, I found out some information today after I'd put this video out that in 2022, last year, the 995 acre tract of Samworth was 100% white marsh and sesbania. Very invasive plants, they're very hard to kill. This year, 2023, it's 80%. So they have gotten rid of 20% of the white marsh in Suspania as of today. Duck season starts Saturday, and it's still there. So there's nothing there. There's 20% has been cut. I don't even know if they're going to have draw hunts this year there. If any of y'all who are from South Carolina, I don't do draw hunts, so I don't do lottery hunts. But I don't even know if they're going to have one because there's nothing there for them. There's no food there for them. Also, I made mention in my video that as of the time of the video that I didn't know if they had repaired or done any work on the dikes and the levees. I have found out today that no problem, Nick. Again, guys, if I happen to miss your comments, I'm sorry because I'm kind of paying attention to notes and trying to get this information out. But welcome in, Nick. Welcome in, Mark. I live in Sumter, Nick. I live in Sumter. So DNR has spent approximately $10 million on Samworth. That is what I found out today. All they have done is repaired the dikes. This was all contracted out, so they repaired the dikes. I understand they fixed some bridges, and I understand they fixed some water control devices. You're in Dillon. Hey, Ron. Now, $10 million on this WMA, and all they've gotten was it's a start. I can't argue with that. It's a start, but they have done no habitat improvements as of yet. So the white marsh, that 80% of the white marsh is there, the white marsh grass, and 80% of the Suspania is still there. Duck season starts this Saturday. They've done no cutting, no burning, no nothing. Nothing. There's nothing there for them to eat. So if you've heard all year long that we're going to have a very, very cold winter, which no doubt, I think we're going to have one. But I don't care how cold it gets. I don't care how much water you put on a place. If there's nothing there for them to eat, they're going to go. They're going to leave. So as of right now, there's nothing there for them. Nothing. Even if they were to burn this week, there'll be nothing there for them for Saturday. And we're going into the colder months, so all the plants are going dormant. Ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. There's just not gonna be any food in there this year. I don't care if they do burn it. I don't care if they go in there and rototill it right now. All the plant life and everything is going dormant. They may have water. They may find a place to rest, and preen and get a drink of water, but that's it. I've had like someone said, all late spring and summer to kill this stuff. And yes, that's right. They didn't do it. In 2022, they had machinery in the area. These Marsh Masters, for those, it's a tractor. It's a tractor. No man stays in an empty kitchen, so why would a duck? Exactly. So, they didn't do anything. I mean, while they were repairing dikes, they could have went in there, and it's called top cutting. And before especially with Suspania, before it gets to where it starts to seed out, which is usually they get about 4 foot tall. And before it starts to do that, you're supposed to go in there and you can cut it down, okay, and kill it, and then you can burn it, and then you can plow it and till it and disc it up, and your new growth of good stuff, moist soil, will start to come up. But you got to disturb the soil to get that to happen, and they didn't do it. What's taking them so long? That's the big question. Why is it taking them so long? They've had money, and they've had money set aside for all of this. There's been money for years set aside to do this work, and they just started this year. I mean, why? Why is it that they're doing this? It absolutely makes no sense. And you kind of wonder, it makes you wonder, does South Carolina DNR, do they really care about the waterfowl resource? And I hate to put that blunt and just straight up, do they really care? And I'm not talking about your biologist. I'm not talking about the game wardens. What I am talking about is the upper echelon. The upper echelon. And I'm not going to sit here and name names tonight. I'm not going to do that. I could most definitely name names, but the director over DNR, do you not want us to duck hunt? Do you not care about the waterfowl resource that's in our state? South Carolina has a huge and very long history of duck hunting. Presidents, VIPs have come to South Carolina to hunt ducks in the past. It was the premier state. Mallards, black ducks, gadwall, pintails, widgeon, teal, divers, bluebills, redheads, canvasbacks, brant, you name it, it was here. It was here. Didn't have to go anywhere. And my next question is, why does South Carolina DNR continue to allow the long-term decline of the Cat 1s in wildlife management areas? And we have quite a few Cat 1s in the state. Samworth is one that we're going to be talking about two in particular. Samworth and Santee Coastal Reserve tonight. Samworth is at 100% decline in waterfowl harvest. I got sent some information the other day that only 28 ducks were killed in the past 6 years out of Samworth. Hey, Robert, how you doing, buddy? No worries, man. We talked about that. I knew you were going to be a little late. But why are they allowing it to decline? Now I want to make some statements here. There's a difference between DNR and Santee Cooper, the Santee Cooper. Santee Cooper's electric co-op. And hey, Jonathan, we're just talking about Samworth right now. And basically, as a kind of a review, I just found out today they've spent about $10 million repairing the dikes, bridges, and water control on Samworth, but they still have not done any habitat work as of today, from what I heard. And I've got I got a good resource on that. And as of today, they have not done anything as far as the habitat, which, the season starts Saturday. There's no way that they could do any habitat work before the season. And even if they did, it wouldn't matter to a hill of beans because it's too late. You can't get any new growth. So getting back to the long term, I got to get back to my notes here. Hold on. AJ, why does South SCDNR continue to allow the long-term decline of Cat 1 areas? I don't know. I can't answer that other than the fact that I don't think they really care about the public waterfowler. I honestly don't. They don't care. The bureaucrats, the leadership do not care whatsoever for the public waterfowler. And that's sad. Again, we've got a long history in South Carolina on duck hunting, waterfowl hunting. I can't count the number of duck call makers that are in our state. I can't count the number of decoy makers. What I mean by that, cork, balsa wood, decoy makers. They're everywhere. You go down to Georgetown County and you can find a decoy carver. It's like on every street corner. They're everywhere. Duck call makers all over the state. All over the state. Some of the most passionate duck hunters are from. I'm not saying that the other states aren't passionate about duck hunting, but you have to remember we used to have such great duck hunting here that we didn't have to go anywhere else. We didn't have to go to Arkansas or to Kansas or to Texas or to Louisiana or to Missouri or to the Dakotas or Minnesota. My good friend Jonathan would rewind. He's on a trip. I believe he's still on a trip right now. We're going out of state. We're passionate. We want to hunt ducks. We love the culture of duck hunting. Everything about it. Dogs, guns, shells, decoys, calls. I'll get to that in a minute, Grant. 1 second. I was getting to that here very shortly. So, again, there's money has been in the coffers to fix these Cat 1s. Samworth is one of them. Santee East, Santee West, Bear Island, Cedar Island, all these places, these Category 1s are in desperate need of help. The only Category 1 WMA that's up to par and actually beyond it is the Santee Coastal Reserve. And yeah, but the thing is, Jeff, we never should have let it get to we got to go back to one at a time. They should have been fixed and kept up. See, the problem is there are no managers, no waterfowl managers on these Cat 1s except for the Santee Coastal Reserve. That is the only one that has a manager and has a staff. The rest of them don't have them. And then again, that is a problem. There's money there for this stuff. There's money there for these managers. There's money there to repair. And if they'd have done maintenance, just like you do on your car, getting an oil change, you guys in the military, remember when we have to do vehicle maintenance or weapons maintenance? You did it. All you're doing is cleaning. The same thing. If they had just done maintenance, we wouldn't be in this shape. But they let it go. It has gotten so bad, and it is rumored, and I'm saying it straight up. I'm hearing rumors that Samworth could be declassified from a Cat 1 to a Cat 2. And if it goes to a Cat 2, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do a dang thing to it. They're going to let it go. What grows may grow. I remember drawing a blind with my dad that said planted cypress trees, and they were planted in rows. Lord have mercy. Now, getting back to Grant's question, And when I'm saying that there's money in the coffers now, granted, our state stamp was only like $5.50 up until this year, and it went up from $5.50 to $15.50. And they said they're going to take this extra money to fix this stuff. Now, but you got to understand there was money in the coffer for them to fix. There's just not enough, and this extra money was going to subsidize it. Okay. Hang on one second. I got to get back to my phone. Keeps locking myself out. Hang on. Oh, I just hit the wrong buttons. Why don't you hate it when you hit the wrong buttons? So, anyway, yeah, we have raised our duck stamp, our state stamp, to $15.50. When this happened, they had another advisory board. Can we talk about how 1 in every 10 duck hunters actually cares about this, though? Yeah, we can get to that here in a little bit. Just remind me. We sit there and we got this money. The money has been in the coffers to fix these things. It's just, why is it taking so long? Samworth, Santee East, Santee West, I know they're under contracts to be fixed, and to have repairs done and have work done on them. And it was just today that I found out that they actually had started work on Samworth and had completed the dike structure. Now, that is the first thing they got to do. I understand that. But why did it take so long to do it? And why haven't they done any habitat? During the early spring, they could have went in there and cut down the Suspania and the white marsh. They could have burned it. They could have tilled it up. They could have dissed it up. They could have been doing this stuff while they were repairing, utilizing these marsh masters. Been very, very simple to do. Very, very good friend of mine, and a supporter of this channel, told me earlier today. He said, there is a science to moist soil management, but it's not rocket science. And it really isn't. You have to get rid of the old, get rid of that undesirable, and then let the good stuff grow up. The smart weeds and the sprangle tops and the natural millets. So this stuff has to get done. Now, I want to stop for a second because I want to address what Rewind Jonathan said. Can we talk about how 1 in 10 duck hunters in South Carolina actually cares about this, though? 3 years ago, Jonathan, 3 years ago, maybe 4, I put out a Facebook notice that let's all meet at Pax Landing and come up with some things and draft a letter. And I would draft it. I would write the letter and have everybody sign it. And I would send it to DNR. I did this on my own time. I went down to Pax Landing and I had 15 people show up. And I think there might be 1 or 2 of y'all that are in here tonight. And we went for a boat ride through the swamp afterwards. But I had 15 people show up. 15 people showed up out of thousands who said that they would. And you're 100% correct. Duck hunters the public duck hunter needs to band together. That's why earlier today I put this out on TikTok. I put this out on Instagram. I put this out on Facebook. I did a short YouTube video on this, that we were going to do this tonight. And I've got 15 people in here. Call your buddies right now. Stop. Call your buddies. Tell them to get over here. because I guarantee you that this video, this live stream, is being watched right now by DNR. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that someone from DNR is watching this live stream right now. Thomas, that unfortunately, when the annual duck run started, it was to raise money for the refuge. Actually, raise money for the Santee National Wildlife Refuge. It was to raise money for Ducks Unlimited, and it was raising money for Delta. I went to the very first one. I went to the 5 after that. Unfortunately, it turned into a huge drunk fest. And to be quite honest, I just quit going. I quit going. Nothing against having a drink. I like to have my cold beer in the summer. I like to have me an adult libation in the evenings. But I can tell you, it just went south. Now I don't know where they're doing that money at now. I don't know what's happening now. But I would love. I may do it this year. I may go down there and set up a tent and just sit up under there and say, "Hey, sign this. Let's get DNR. Let's get DNR to do something." I may do that this year. Yeah, it's just printed. We don't get a stamp either. We haven't got a stamp in I don't know how many years. But anyway, going back to that. Let's see here. I got notes everywhere, guys. Tomorrow, here's another thing that just kicks me in the butt is the Waterfowl Advisory Committee. They got a meeting tomorrow. I found this out today. They have a meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Donnelly WMA. Now, who in the world who works a full-time job is going to be able to take off, drive down to Donnelly at 9 a.m. on a work day and watch this meeting or even be able to participate in it? Unless you are the owner of a company, which probably you're not a public duck hunter then anyway, you got your own land. Who can do that? Now, that's bureaucrats and politicians right there for you, because they don't want us to show up. They don't want the vocalization of us to show up. When they did the invasive aquatic control board meeting, which was held it was just held right up the road from me at the Watery Gun Range. I took a day off to go up there. I found out about it the last second, and I took off and went up there. I just won't be able to do it tomorrow. I can't get up there, because I guarantee you if I did, I'd have a camera. I'd put a camera on them, and I'd interview every last one of them. First Amendment, thank you. But they got this meeting tomorrow, and nobody can show up. But I will tell you this: if you got a pencil and piece of paper, you can go to the DNR website. When you get the DNR website, you click on the board. It'll have the board where you can click on board, and then you're going to click the advisory committee, and then you can click the Waterfowl Advisory Committee, and that will give you the minutes of what they're going to talk about tomorrow. And if you got about an hour, it probably won't come out for a couple of days, but if you got about an hour, I highly suggest you guys here in South Carolina, y'all need to read up on this stuff, on what they're doing. I'm going to find out tomorrow after. I'll have some information, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, on what happened. But I don't even know if they allow telecom. I don't know if they're going to allow telecom. so you could watch it. I have no idea. If one of y'all happen to find it, shoot me a message on Facebook or something, or Instagram or whatever. But you know, DNR is. I honestly, in my heart, that they do not want to. They don't want us to be. They don't want public duck hunters here, and I don't know why. I don't know why. What's the reasoning for this? Why are they trying to destroy this heritage? I know I got some South Carolina boys in here, and I'm quite sure that y'all feel the same way. I'm mad about this thing. I've had enough. I've absolutely had enough with it. Who are you to utilize my tax money this way? This is my money. Samworth, all these WMAs, these category ones, cat twos, we own this. You don't own it. We own it. We are the citizens of South Carolina. We own this stuff. And you're messing with our tax money. Actually, there is, buddy. Actually, there is enough money. They've had money set aside to work on these cat ones for years. It's been there. It has been there. And like I said, I don't know if you heard me earlier, buddy, but they just completed the dikes and the bridge. I think some of the bridges, maybe all of the bridges, and the water control. And it took them $10 million to do that. That's right, $10 million to do that. And they haven't done any habitat work. None. All these places are under contract. They're under contract right now for the work to be done. So the money's there. Why? What's the issue? Why is it taking so freaking long to do this? Now, I'm quite sure that I'm going to tick some people off, and that's fine. I don't care. Bring it. I know that I've upset one person. Bring it. I'm quite sure that some of y'all are in here that have thought in the past, hey, I'd love to hunt with you. At least get a sausage biscuit from you. But it may not be a good idea right now. I've had two other people call me and say, keep it up. And I promised them that I would. Bougie's upset, guys. Undoubtedly, I'm getting a little loud and she's getting upset, or she's got to go outside. I'm not exactly sure which. Wow. Again, apparently they do not care about our waterfowl resource. South Carolina DNR. Now, this is what it appears to be. Okay, guys, remember this. This is what it appears to be. Perception is a huge thing in the public eye. Perception is a huge thing in the public eye. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of background with me. I used to be a police officer. And if we walked around in a nasty uniform and just didn't care about our appearance, the perception to the public is we weren't worth a crap, right? That's what you would perceive. That cop ain't, look at him. He ain't worth a crap. Look how he dresses. So perception is a huge, huge thing. And the perception of the South Carolina DNR is that they are anti-hunters, that the high level are anti-hunters. Now, they'll tell you, no, we're not. I don't care what you tell me. Your perception is that you do not care about the waterfowl resource, and you do not care about hunters, and you are perceived to be an anti-hunter. Careful if you hunt with Matt, he'll likely run you in the trees. Yep. I don't know if they're going to plant anything in Samworth. Honestly, I would prefer it if they would go moist soil or either plant rice. Now, I've got a story for you. This is a true story. If the guy is in here, I'm not going to give out names, but if the guy's in here, he told me this today. Because I do know I have some people that are in here that will not comment because they can't. So, but I was told today that this person, a farmer, was asked to plant rice at Samworth. Now you got to remember, Samworth is an island, and so you got to get to it by boat. And in the middle of Samworth is 995 acres of some of the best waterfowl, or used to be some of the best waterfowl hunting in the country. They wanted him to plant rice there. So he asked them, I had no problem with that. I'd love to plant rice there. Can I use your barge to get over there? And they told him no. Well, how am I going to get my equipment over there? Well, that's something you're going to have to figure out. He said, I'm not going to buy a barge just to plant rice. They fulfilled a requirement. They were told that they needed to plant something there. So when they asked the farmer to do it, they wouldn't loan him the equipment to get over there, a barge. That's all he asked for, was a barge to transport his tractors and stuff over there so that he could plant. So you're asking me if they're going to plant anything. I don't think so. I don't think so. This is a true story, guys. I found all this information out literally today, and it's just disheartening that DNR would come out and say, "Hey, we want you to plant," and he says, "Okay, I just need the barge to transport my stuff," and they won't let him. True story, guys. This happened today. I cannot make this up. As a matter of fact, I'm not smart enough to make this stuff up. You're right. Bingo. They don't care. The South Carolina DNR board appears, by its inaction, to accept this decline in waterfowl properties. The harvest numbers clearly show this decline began in 2010 when the current deputy director of the wildlife was appointed to their position. 13 years of failure is more than enough. There needs to be a change at the top if we can ever expect the collapse of Cat 1 properties to improve. You need me to say that again? So you can kind of get a grasp on this? The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources Board appears, again, perception, by their inaction to accept this decline in waterfowl properties. The harvest numbers clearly show this decline began in 2010 when the current deputy director of the wildlife was appointed to their position. 13 years of failure is more than enough. There needs to be a change at the top if we can ever expect this collapse of Cat 1 properties to improve. Let that sink in for a second. This is information that I have been given today. I didn't know about. Now, some of you in here may have heard about it, but I never heard about it. Grant McIntyre, we have a nice crop of cocklebur. All right, so Grant, I personally have never seen it, but I do have a friend of mine who told me about it, that they were doing, some biologists were doing some dissecting of mallards in an area after they were harvested, on a WMA somewhere in the country. I don't know where. And they were checking their craws to see what they were feeding on. When the hunters came in and put in their check, to check in their birds, and they found cocklebur in the mallards crawl. Just saying. Spalkerberry used to be unbelievable for mallards. Yes, it was. It was unbelievable. I really caught the tail end of this place when I first started, when I was 7 years old, started duck hunting. And I mean, it was unbelievable, the mallards that would go into Spalkerberry. But again, Spalkerberry had a lot of acorn trees, a lot more than they have now. Storms have taken it up. Years and years and years and years of high water has killed a lot of these oak trees. During drought years, the sprouting of cypress, tupelo, gum, undesirable stuff has grown up and it's gotten real thick in there. The only way you're gonna get ducks back in there is you need to do a spring and summer draw down to nothing for a couple of years and go in there and do a massive logging in there and take out a lot of stuff, because it's the only way that those oak trees are going to start reproducing. And unfortunately, I don't see that ever happening. Do they not have enough employees? Wonder why. Hey, Cody Bishop, how you doing? Welcome in. That is one problem. They don't have enough employees. They don't have any managers at these Cat 1s. The only Cat 1 that has a manager that I am aware of is Santee Coastal Reserve. And he is a very good manager. He's got a great team. He's got a full-time team, plus he has a lot of USC and Clemson biology students that go out there and do a lot of work. But it is the only one that's actually producing ducks during the hunting season. Might be there, but the big wigs can't go. That's another thing, Charles. Is another thing that was brought to mind. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying that at all. But those big wigs. Do they hunt these places? I doubt it. I doubt very seriously they're going to hunt the WMAs. You know where they're going to hunt? They're going to hunt next door to it, to the private places. And this has nothing to do with private versus public, guys. Nothing. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, and this is straight from my heart, if it wasn't for private land ownership in our state, we would not have the first duck, period. We wouldn't have it. Private landowners have kept ducks in our state. But our state, since 2010, has not done a thing for the public duck hunter. Nothing. They can say we did this. This isn't a DU project, okay? This is not something that we just hand over to DU to do a project. This is the state is supposed to handle this. This is a wildlife management area, and the state needs to fix it. They got the money. They've got the money. Let's get it fixed. The Deputy Director of Wildlife is responsible for hiring qualified staff to operate Cat 1 properties. This person has failed, and their staff has failed. Period. No ifs and buts about it. They failed. Since 2010, they have failed. There needs to be new leadership in DNR ASAP. Most Ricky Tick. It has to be done. The public hunter, and I'm not saying private hunters don't put their fair share of money in. I'm not saying that. But as well as I do, you all of us pretty much are public duck hunters. Listen, we get up. Where's the first place we go? we get gas. We gas our trucks up. We gas our boats up. Next thing we're going to do is get a big cup of coffee. Regardless if we have a thermos of coffee in our bag, we're still going to get a cup of coffee. We're going to get a road snack. We're going to get something to get on the road with. We may pick up some extra snacks to put in our bag. And when the hunt's over, we go eat breakfast somewhere. Unless you're eating breakfast in the blind, you're going to go stop and get breakfast somewhere. Whether it's Hardee's, McDonald's, or a restaurant, you're going to stop and get something to eat. This is putting money into the economy. How can you not? I mean, if you eliminate the public duck hunter, how can you not understand even the simple economics of 101, putting money back into the small communities, putting it back into the mom and pop stores? Guys are going to go buy shotgun shells. They're going to go to the local hardware store. They're going to buy shotgun shells. They're going to buy new guns. They're going to buy waders. They're going to buy new decoys. They're putting money into the economy. Does DNR not see this? How does DNR get their money? Through our tax money. Pittman-Robinson Act. Our taxes, Pittman-Robinson Act. Well, if we quit buying hunting stuff because there's nothing here to hunt, they're going to run out of money. Why would we buy licenses? I told someone today, and he may be he may be in here, I don't know. But I told someone today that if it wasn't for a young man this year asking me to go on a teal hunt, and by the way, we didn't shoot anything. We saw a lot of ducks that day. But on a teal hunt, we saw a lot of teal that day. Oh my gosh. We saw several thousands of teal. If he hadn't have begged me to go with him, I doubt very seriously I'd have got a South Carolina hunting license this year. Because I'm going out of state all the time now. So if I'm going out of state and I'm sitting here talking to you guys about this, you know good and well that it is coming from my heart. It's coming from the passion that I have for duck hunting and trying to get South Carolina back up and running. So you all know that. Again, guys, if you got friends of yours that are as passionate as I am, as passionate as you are, and especially you guys here in South Carolina, call your buddies, tell them to get on this live stream right now, because we got to get the numbers up. I'm telling you right now that there are people who are watching this live stream right now, and they're looking at my numbers and they're going, this guy, he doesn't have a following. I got 2,100 some odd subscribers. Where are you at? I should have that in here tonight. Call your buddies, get them in here, and let's make a statement to DNR. You have got to get on. You got to start doing your thing. Yeah, Grant, there's we need an on-site manager, and we need on-site waterfowl technicians on these WMAs. Like I said, Santee Coastal Reserve is the only one that I know of that has that. But they've got to hire qualified people to do this. So my question to you, complaining only does so much. Cody, right here, this is where it starts. Grassroots is where it starts, guy. Grassroots. That's why I'm telling you, get a hold of your people and get all your friends, and you tell them to get on here right now, and I'll answer as many questions as I can. I'm going to have more stuff that's going to be coming at me, hopefully in the next few days. Watch it. I'm gonna have it on YouTube. I'm gonna have it on TikTok. I'm gonna have it on Instagram, wherever I can put it. We are going. I've had enough, and we're going to start pushing this hard. But where do you start? You start right here. This is where you start, and then we got to get letters written to this again to the DNR. Excuse me, apologize, to the Waterfowl Advisory Committee. I don't have a list of them right here in front of me. I'm going to try to get a list and hopefully some emails, and we're going to start this. I don't know if you were aware, but a select people were asked to take a waterfowl survey this year on upcoming changes in the waterfowl season for next year. I was selected. I actually did a post or something on it. I filled out my survey, and then I found out today that it was actually only a select amount of people. But write to your politicians, call them, write to your state senators, write to your state representatives, write to the Waterfowl Advisory Board, email them, call them. Like I said, Cody, we got to get together. I got some buddies. I got some really good friends that work for DNR. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm just saying the leadership is what's bad. And those guys, if they want their jobs, they're not going to say a word. I'm going to tell you straight up. I know the leadership, and they better not say a word because they're gone. But the game wardens that I know there's others of you that know every game warden in your county by name. And they know you by first name. I know quite a few here. They're great people. I mean, they really are. They're really concerned. But it's not them. It's not those I'm talking about. The ones I'm talking about are the leadership. Those are the ones that need to be ousted. I got more information on some things I just cannot say. I can't say it. I honestly just can't do it. I know that's a teaser, but some things I just can't say. So who in the government can force this change? Or are we destined to lose the state's waterfowl property because of government inaction? Just what I was saying, guys. Call your state senators. And if you're having issues in your own state, I know a lot of you guys are not from South Carolina. But if you're having issues, you start off calling. You start off emailing. You get a group of guys together, grassroots. There is a Facebook page. When I first started this channel, I pushed them very, very hard. And unfortunately, I haven't done it as hard as I should have kept up with it. But it's called the Carolina Wildlife Syndicate. It's on Facebook, Carolina Wildlife Syndicate. If one of my moderators can find that and post it in the comment section, I'd sure really appreciate it. And once it gets posted, I'll actually put it on as a trailer so it'll scroll. But they're a grassroots organization. Don't cost you a thing to join them. And they're not just for ducks. They're for all the wildlife in South Carolina. Deer, turkeys, hogs, doves, quail, ducks, inappropriate forestry burns, the whole 9 yards. That is a good group to join, and to when they do come out, on occasion they'll have a form letter that you can print off and you can sign it and send it in, or emails and stuff like that. But that's a great place to start. If you're local in South Carolina, I would start with things like this, what I'm going to be doing, things like the Carolina Wildlife Syndicate, calling my senators, calling my reps, getting a hold of the advisory committee, talking to them, saying, "Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? What's taking you so long?" And start pushing it. It's the only way we can start. Um, Politicians look at numbers, guys. I've got right now. I'm showing 13 people in here, and they're going to look at numbers, and they're going to say, "Well, 13 people ain't enough. 13 people ain't enough." It is what it is. We have got to start coming together. All right, Craig, take care of yourself. Have a good luck in the morning. Yeah, Charles, that's what this survey was done, and I'm actually going to find out more about that tomorrow, hopefully. But again, the advisory board meets tomorrow at 9 a.m. in Donley WMA. So if any of you South Carolina boys don't have to work tomorrow, and you can get to the Donley WMA, it's a public forum. They can't keep you out of it. They might ask you to leave, but they can't keep you out. It's a public forum. It's on public property, so you have to stand your ground sometimes. So, who else? I mean, what else? That's pretty much what I have as far as this new information that came in for tonight. If there's something you want me to go back over, I'll be more than happy. Just put a. I asked them to add me to that list, and I didn't get an email. Hey, do you still have that? RD, do you still have that email that I sent you on that? Do you still have that? If you do, email it to me, because I don't know, somewhere it went somewhere. I can't find it. Somebody was asking me about it. But if any of y'all in here have any questions of what I've been talking about for the past hour, let me know. I'll try to answer them the best of my ability. I can give you some more history on Samworth. I got those notes right here. And I've got the new notes either on this pad or an email that was sent to me. There are some people that are out there who are very influential and who are, they're private landowners, but they're all for the public duck hunter, and they're trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. They just can't be as vocal as I can. No, did I send you an email where you had the actual survey on it? But that's the public input email. I don't know if I sent you the actual survey or not, or if I just sent you that. I can't remember. But I've lost that whole email they sent me. I don't know where it went. If y'all want, I'm willing. I'm willing to write some letters. Trying to get people to sign them is a hard thing. Because everybody, no, you don't have it. Okay. But I've had enough. I've had enough of looking out in some of the best water, best habitat, and not seeing anything for days because we just don't have the food. We don't have the food in our public areas. Now, I do have some good news that I found out over the weekend. There has been some vegetation growing. Okay. That's all you got back? Okay. Um, there is vegetation starting to grow on Santee. There's eelgrass, which is a good thing. And it's good for a lot of different species, but we're talking ducks here. Um, Widgeon like it, gadwall, pintails like it, divers, um, and coots. And I have personally have not seen them, but I had one guy tell me that he saw a bunch of coots on the lake. Um, Wait, I got it. It was spam. Okay. How about this, RD? I'll just call you tomorrow, and because I want to see if you can't forward that survey back to me so that I can forward it to someone else. Here's the thing, Robert. I don't have the total figures in front of me, but if you will go back to last February, I did a video on is waterfowling over with in South Carolina. That kind, I believe that was well, I mean, I can just look it up, can I? Nope, don't want to talk to you. I'm talking to myself. Uh, Videos. Last February, I did a video called "Is Public Waterfowling Over in South Carolina?" If I have any moderators, please, if you can find that on my channel and post the link. And I gave out the numbers, Robert. I gave the numbers out. How much? I believe I gave out the numbers on how much was spent or how much has been allotted allotted to the different WMAs. If I don't have it on my video, I put a link to another video from another YouTuber called Adventures with Marsh, and that should have the numbers. Most definitely have the numbers on it. Problem everywhere is people don't care or don't know. You're right. Robert said something earlier today, especially about the poker run. It's a bunch of 20 somethings getting drunk. And that's mainly a lot of your duck hunters. They go out there, and I'm not saying all of them, guys, so don't jump me and start bashing me and stuff. You have a lot of youngsters out there that just don't care. They don't. They're at that age. They don't care. They're just out there to have a good time. Yeah, I got what you're saying, and but I had actual numbers in dollars of how much was already allotted to these WMAs that are in contracts that aren't being done. They're not being done, or why? If they are being done, why is it so slow to get it going? They're already in contracts. I mean, they've got the contracts drawn up. The money's been paid. What's taking them so long? That's my question: is why is it taking it so long, and why are y'all sitting on your hands and you're misusing our tax money? Why? If you cannot handle it, get out, leave, go away. Let's get somebody in there that actually knows what they're doing. Y'all think that Arkansas just became this great place to hunt overnight? No, no. A lot of things that happened in Arkansas In the late 1960s, when we were killing mallards left hand over fist, I mean, they were just everywhere. Arkansas had a mallard limit of one duck. People from Arkansas were coming here to hunt, and then they got on board with managing their public areas, and along with the rice fields and everything else they had. That's the answer I was fishing for. I got you. Keep fishing, bro. Don't fish. Just throw a hand grenade and let her rip. You know, I remember some of those days. I remember those golden days, man, where just mallards. I mean, mallards would be coming through the trees in the swamp. And there were times when you could either go shoot mallards up in the swamp or shoot divers on the lake. You had your choice. But like I said earlier, the good news is there is grass growing. There's eelgrass is starting to grow, which is good for ducks. It's good for fish. It's good all the way around. It's a good thing. And it's popping up. And it is expanding, which is a great thing. That may be true. That may be true, Charles. You know, that may be true. But here's the fact of the matter is, why are you sitting on your hands being slow to pay? Why are you sitting on your hands not having them get the work done? That's the thing. Hey, Randy, I saw you in there earlier, man. I meant to say hey. We all took a bag of corn, put it out. Yeah, you're right. What's that old saying? Rich man brings water to the corn, and poor man brings corn to the water. I'm with Randy. We need to be friends. Y'all live fairly close together, by the way. Ain't that far. So, yeah, you know, here's the thing. You know, we need to start banding together as sportsmen, as duck hunters, as public duck hunters, and we need to be on forums like this. We need to light a fire under these people. And guys, I can't, I mean, I'm going to do my part, but I can't do it by myself. I need you guys. I need you guys to help me and help me with, you know, when I get information because when I get new information like this, I'm either going to put it in a video or put it on a live stream or both, like I'm doing tonight, because I've got the Sam Worth information in front of me. I did a video on that over the weekend. If you haven't seen it, please go look at it. But we also need to come together. We got to quit being selfish and we'll let somebody else worry about it. Or I'm only going to work, because here's how it usually works. Most duck hunters think about it right before the season, and they think about it right after the season. And in between, they're too busy duck hunting. And it doesn't go anywhere. We need a full press court and get something going. Yeah, don't post it here, man. I'm gonna have you email it to me. Charles, they are destroying public duck hunting because look at all the money on River Road. There must be 500 big money. You know, there's a lot of truth to that. You know, there's well over 200 ponds. There's probably more than that now. From Jacks Creek all the way to Sparkleberry, and some on the river, on the lakeside, and some across the road on River Road. Why do they have ducks, Charles? Why? because they're managing their properties. That's why they have ducks. They found out a long time ago in the 1980s if they started managing property that they would keep ducks, and they do. Our state is not managing our public property. Because trust me when I tell you this, if Samworth was up and running, good water, good amount of food, and it doesn't have to be corn, it can be moist soil or rice, they would have ducks. The reason the ducks aren't there is because there's nothing for them to be there. There's nothing there. Nothing. And it's going to take a season or two before them to figure it out. But it would come back. The other properties, the other WMA Cat 1s would be the same way. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the private duck hunter, the private landowner, we would not have any ducks here. And yes, they got money. They got money, and I'm all for them, dude. Because I'm telling you, if I had 10 acres of property somewhere, I guarantee you, and it was a good luminous soil, I guarantee you I'd have my own impoundment as well. Guaranteed. No ifs and buts about it. I may not hunt it every day. I may hunt it only once a week, but I'd have my own place. I'm not jealous of them at all. I'm happy for them. I'm glad that they are doing it. Because here, our state ain't doing nothing, and all we're doing is getting the leftovers when they shoot on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and the ducks fly up. They're going to go somewhere, and people are taking pop shots at them, and and every now and then somebody gets lucky. Please do not forward this email as it is survey link is unique to you. What's up, Billy? Okay. Well, never mind then. Yeah, and there's a lot of duck ponds. And they're everywhere, dude. They're everywhere. I can. There. You can drive down, go through Manning, get out on 261. There's duck ponds. You stay on Greeleyville Highway. There's duck ponds. Both sides of the roads. There are duck ponds everywhere, and it's not just our state either. They line up and down the East Coast. They do. So if your duck ponds here have a lot of birds on them, and there are ponds that line the East Coast, we've got a lot of birds. They're not on the public area for one reason. Well, it's a couple reasons, but the number one reason is there's no food. No food whatsoever. None. There's a little bit, but not enough to sustain them and keep them there. If we had more food on the public areas, then we would have more ducks. We'd have a lot more ducks. Oh, happy birthday, dude. All right, Charles. I don't know if I'm going to be up there with y'all or if I'm going to be here. I haven't quite made a decision yet. I wish I'd have known it was your birthday, dude. I'd have sang you a song. That's over with now. All right, so I am really open to questions right now. I've told you everything that I know up to the date. Unless I get another email or a text message. Um, um, let's see here. I'm gonna check them real quick if I can find them. See if any new emails have come in. None yet. You ever hunted deep steppe? Well, there's a good chance I may have, but I may know it under another name. Can you help me out a little bit? Chicken dance for him. No, we ain't doing no chicken dances tonight. Well, you know what? For $500, I might do a chair chicken dance. I don't know. Somebody wants to post up $500 on a super chat. I might do it. Cody, there's a lot of different names for a lot of different places. So I may have, or I just know it by something else, or I may not have hunted up. I don't know. But like I said, I'm open up to any questions, either about this, or questions, or just questions in general. But I will say 100%, we need to start coming together. That one place, Zach, you was five. Oh, yeah. All right. So what Robert is trying to say is me and Robert and another buddy of mine named Zach, we went up into the swamp, and the water had come up, and we were able to get over a ridge in the boat. And when we did, it came out to this small little area, a small little hole. That's where I wanted to hunt. And Zach had the push pole, and I said, "Hey, check the depth of the water." And he said 3 feet. And I went, "Okay." So I stepped out of the boat, and I went over my head. I had a camera in my pocket, ruined the camera. Camera got wet. Phone got wet. I was wet. And I mean, soaking wet. Below Clarks Hill, Savannah River. I have hunted on Clarks Hill. I have hunted off the Savannah River chain. So there's a good chance that I have hunted up there, hunted near where you're saying. I just didn't know the name, but there used to be some really good duck hunting up there. There used to be a duck club up there, and it was run by a doc. I can't remember the doctor's last name, but they were. It was a premier duck club here in South Carolina. One of the best, especially for the upstate. And after he passed away, there was a lot more chiefs than there were Indians, and none of the work got done that he was having done, and it has gone downhill. Now they shoot wood ducks, and every now and then they'll shoot a gadwall. But back then, when he was running it, they were shooting mallards. They were just shooting mallards. But again, management. It all goes back to management. It goes back to a good management plan. And like I said, there is some work involved, but it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. You get the dikes fixed, you get the water control fixed, and while you're doing that, in the meantime, you get those undesirable plants out, get it disc turned up, burned up, clear it, and then let that good moist soil vegetation start growing like smartweed. You can leave a little suspania in there along the edges for cover. and for habitat cover. Yeah, you can leave a little bit, but it doesn't need to be 80 to 100%. That's a fact. And Lord have mercy if they would ever get a barge over there with a good rice farmer and let them plant rice and let them harvest that rice and all the ratoon crop that you would get off of it and the invertebrates that you would get off of it, you would have uh, ducks. They'd just be all over the place. Never heard of it. Where was it located? I have never been there myself. I just know that this duck club was up there. I don't even know the name of it, to be honest with you. And I can't remember the doctor's name. It's kind of like, places, you have certain plantations, even on the coast, Georgetown County, a lot of them. I've never been to these places, never hunted these places, but you know about them. And that's one of those things. I'll tell you what, I'll try to find out. And by the next, if you come back in, I'll try to find a name. It's just one of these guys you hear about, one of these places. Last time I hunted Clark Hill, we shot, it was the last day of the duck season, and we shot our limit of mallards and that morning. And the next day we shot limits of geese. Because the goose season was in. So that's how it used to be a great place to hunt. But that's been years ago. I'll see if I can find out, buddy. But it all this that we've been talking about today, it boils down to the following. Number one, the hierarchy at DNR is doing a piss poor job. Period. No ifs, and buts about it. The perception is they don't care. The perception is that they are anti-hunters. You from North Augusta? Okay. I want to say this was around. What town is that big drive-in? That big drive-in theater. What town is that? Oh, doggone it! I can't think of it. What town? I know you know. It's the big drive-in theater. You drive your car in there and whatnot. But the perception is they don't care. The perception is they're anti-hunters. The perception is they don't care about public waterfowl. That is their perception right now. In my eyes, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah, they killed all the hydrilla on Santee, and it's killed the hunting here too. But that is, I mean, that's the perception. Now, whether they do or don't, it's not the point. The point is, it's all about perception. There's one in Moneta. That's it. Is it Moneta? Why do I keep wanting to say Modoc? Why? That's in North Carolina. It might be in Moneta, the one I'm thinking of, but I understand it's somewhere near there, if I remember right. Don't take my word for it, dude. Don't take my word for that. But DNR, the hierarchy, the leadership, yeah, you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Big Mo, that's what I'm thinking of. So, it's, I got so many thoughts going through my head right now. Things I want to say that I can't say on a live stream. Oh, I got to be careful. But that's the thing. That's what it looks like. They don't care. And guys, we've got to start making them care. We got to get our, these positions are appointed, and we need to start rattling the cages with our politicians, and you just flat out tell them they don't get. We want them out. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. No, we're not going to give them another 6 months. No, we're not going to give them another 13 years. They've had 13 years to do this, and they haven't done it. I mean, 2010, guys, from 2010. This is 2023. There is a Modoc in South Carolina beside Clarkson. Cody, I want to say it's close to there. I may be wrong on that. I may be so wrong, but that's what's just coming to my mind. They've had 13 years, and nothing's been happening. Nothing. It's gone to hell in a handbasket. Things need to change. The hierarchy needs to change. The Waterfowl Advisory Board needs to get more input from the public. And if they got to take a butt chewing from the public, they need to man up and take it. Now, I'm not saying being disrespectful. I'm not saying that at all. But they need to understand that we've had enough of this. There's money there. It's been allocated. Contracts have been drawn up. Stuff needs to start happening. If it's not, hierarchy needs to go away. And we've had enough. We've had enough. I hunted South Carolina 3 times last year, and I never pulled the trigger. Didn't even see a duck. 3 times. Other than that, I was out of state. I was up in North Carolina. And I've hunted South Carolina 1 time this year, early teal season. I have not pulled the trigger. I have shot ducks in North Carolina. Or at least if I haven't shot them, I was with people who did shoot them. And sometimes I was trying to film and just couldn't get to a gun fast enough. So, there's got to be a change. There has to be a change. And I'm telling you, we're going to be experiencing some of the coldest weather we've had in a long time. It's going to be awesome for duck hunting. It's going to bring ducks in, but there's not going to be any food in the public areas. They'll all be in the private areas. And those areas are being managed correctly. They've got food. They only hunt them on certain days. I mean, I know of places that won't hunt until they get an X number of birds on the place. Then they'll make a phone call and they'll hunt it. Because it's got to be managed. This is just absolutely crazy. And why do I want to spend money in South Carolina, and especially for a lottery hunt, and I would never either, number one, never get drawn for it, or it'll take 4 years to get drawn for it, or most of the Cat 1s are in such disrepair they're not going to have any ducks anyway. A friend of mine told me today that he got drawn for Samworth 3 years ago, and he spent the whole time out there and never saw the first duck. And the information that I've gotten is that only 28 ducks have been killed off of Samworth in the past 6 years. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Now, how is that possible when it was one of the greatest locations? It is located in the heart of the Waccamaw Neck. It is the best waterfowl location you could ever imagine. And there's There's absolutely nothing there. It's absolutely asinine. Excuse my French. I'm gonna take me a pill tonight to calm down. And like I said earlier tonight, guys, I'm not saying I have quit hunting South Carolina, but it has been greatly reduced because there's just nothing here to hunt. And I have a duck hunting channel, so I've got to go. I've got to travel. So I am putting my money into another state. South Carolina is losing on that money. Gas tax, they're losing. Food tax, they're losing. Because they will not do what they are supposed, not what they promised, what they're supposed to do. It is DNR has a very simple job. Very simple. It's protect and enhance the wildlife in the state of South Carolina. That's their job. That's their job. And they're more worried about catching people at a boat ramp and scratching their life jackets to see if their life jackets are good or bad than they are worried about doing anything else. Snacks. Well, that came under food tax. But I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing. It's absolutely nuts. And DNR, if you're watching, the hierarchy is watching, or you got one of your little minions that are watching this video, I don't care. Y'all ain't doing your job. Period. No ifs and buts about it. Cody, I tried that about 4 years ago and it didn't work. I tried it. The number one, you got to have a venue, and that costs money. You got to have a venue. So I'd love to. I would absolutely love to have a venue to where we invite people, the public, come in here and discuss this, and then write a letter, get a letter drawn up, and get it to the advisory committee. I'd love to do it. I got 12 people in here, Cody. 12 people are in here right now because they don't want to. A lot of people just don't care about it, unfortunately. But we have got to start coming together. Talk to your guys. Talk to your buddies that you hunt with. Help me. To help yourselves. I'm here as the forum. I am here to express the stuff on an open forum and to put it out there. I'm here for it. You can get a venue. Okay. Well, get with me later, dude. Get on either Instagram or Facebook and get me a message, and we'll try to work something out. Now, it's going to be tough during the duck season because it starts Saturday here. But yeah, it's something we need to do. And we got to start where we have to start are the Cat 1 public areas. And granted, these are lottery areas, but this is the best place to start. Trust me when I tell you. You're going to have a real hard time convincing an electric co-op to let hydrilla grow. That you're going to have a hard time with that. I know several of the people at Santee Cooper. I have worked with them. I have done videos with them. If you go back in the history of my channel, you'll see where we address the giant Sylvania problem. I have addressed, actually went out with them one day and planted water shield, which is a great food source and cover for fish, but it's also a great food source for ducks. It's actually called duck candy. They absolutely love it. All right, Mark, take care, man, and I hope y'all had a good time on that trip. Y'all caught a lot of beavers. I saw where you posted the video. I just did not have time today to look at it, but I promise you I will. When the duck hunting was great, there were no private ponds around Santee. No, there was not. Didn't need them. But there were private ponds up and down the East Coast. There were private impoundments up and down the East Coast. And even in the 50s, in the 60s, there were people who, all right, Grant, I know you know this place. If you turn down, oh crap, what's the name of that road? It's the road that Jack's Creek is on. What's the name of it? I can't remember. Runs alongside of the refuge. Well, in between where the entrance to Jack's Creek and Highway 15, you got those private ponds on the left. You got those private impoundments on the left. Well, back in the 50s and 60s, it was either there or it was across Highway 15. Some guys got together and they built a duck pond, and no ducks came to it. It was really, really weird. Pork Chop, we are fussing about the wildlife management areas in South Carolina. That's what we've been doing for the past hour and 42 minutes. But it was in the 50s or 60s. Some guys got together and they actually tried to build a pond in there. Used to live on Highway 50. Yeah, but not in South Carolina, bro. So they would, they just didn't get, they didn't get any ducks in it. Because the ducks, they would roost on the refuge, and they would get up, and you'd have a huge flock of ducks start heading north on Highway 15. And they would go through Sammy Swamp, and they would end up in a place called Pacala Swamp, which is in between Sumter and Manning. And the other half of those ducks would fly up the lake and into Spockerberry, in the Spockerberry area. And that's the only places they went. And there was just, I don't know if the place didn't have the food they wanted or had what the issue was, but my dad was telling me about it, and he's told me about it for years, and I remember the stories. They made a very, very expensive wood duck pond, even though we had mallards and black ducks and pintails and widgeons and everything else that was on our lake system. But regardless of that, you still had impoundments up and down the East Coast. So it's not just the impoundments are not a South Carolina. I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, you go into North Carolina, you see impoundments. You go into Virginia, you see impoundments. You just keep going. And they have been there for years. Years and years and years. Always have been. I don't think the impoundments are the reason we don't have ducks on our lake in the public areas. The reason we don't have ducks on the public areas is there's no food. There's no food. You got to remember the Santee. We're gonna now talk about Santee Cooper and Lake Marion, the upper lake, and in the Sparkleberry Swamp area. That lake was started construction in 1939. So in the early 40s, right before World War II, they decided that, well, they need electricity so they could run. They needed power because of World War II. So they flooded the lake, and when they did that, over the years, that lake has stayed flooded, and the acorn trees have started to die out. And that's what the mallards were going for. They were going for those acorn trees. They were going for the acorns. That's all they wanted. But now we have such a reduction in the acorn crop. Now, we still have acorn trees in there. We still have an acorn crop, but it is not like it used to be. Well, when that started to decline, the ducks started declining. And it was probably in the late 70s, early 80s when we started noticing it. That huge decline in mallards going into the lake. Now, you'd have your good years where in the 80s and even in the 90s where it was just absolutely wonderful. But the decline really started in the late 70s. You had 35, 40 years of trees being in the water. They can't produce like they were. So that's when the ponds, the impoundments started being built along the lake. People buy a piece of property, they clear it, had a good luminous soil, and they would start planting, and then they would fill it up. After a few years of that, people started noticing, well, there's not enough ducks on the lake. We got grass, and we had grass. We had grass on the lake. We had hydrilla, and hydrilla brought a more types of ducks, gadwall, more widgeon, even pintails. And we started seeing divers, lots and lots of divers, redheads, canvasbacks, bluebills, huge flocks of coots. Now, I know that most people, we laugh when we talk about coots, but coots are a determining factor of what your duck population is going to be in an area. If you got a lot of coots, there's a lot of food. And if you got a lot of coots, a lot of food, you're going to get a lot of ducks. It's just that simple. I remember painting 10 dozen mallard decoys to look like a big raft of coots, and we would shoot divers on them. We would shoot cameras. That's all we did was painted everything black. And we would shoot divers and redheads, bluebills, canvasbacks, ringnecks. And then you occasionally get your mallards that come in, occasionally get gadwall and your widgeon. Then when they started killing all that grass, putting the grass carp in, it was a reduction in the coots, a reduction in the food sources, reduction in the coots, and then it was just a flat out reduction in ducks, period. Some places were still holding good grass, good water, good food sources, these little way out little potholes and whatnot. And you still have some good hunts in those places. Then the invention of mud motors came about, and you could really get into some of this backwater stuff without tearing your boat too much. And I'm not saying mud motors are a sin, because I own one, and that's all I'll ever drive is a mud motor, because I love hunting skinny water, and I want to get in the back as fast and easy as possible. I'm too fat to walk. So all DNR cares about is diversity. You got that right. See, and here's another thing. Have you heard of the Ramsey Grove Plantation? It's down on the coast. Now, Ramsey Grove, the state of South Carolina won that in a lawsuit through VMR. It was another property up in the upstate, if I'm not mistaken. Ramsey Grove was managed for waterfowl hunting. It had a great manager there. He knew what he was doing when it was privately owned. When the state won it, of course, he lost his job, and it has gone to hell in a hen basket. The state went to give it to DNR and said, hey, this would be a great little place for WMA. Take it. DNR refused that property and gave it to tourism. That way, no offense to my northern brothers up here, but we could get the Yankee dollar so people could come down and see what a southern plantation was and eat their grits and eggs. So we lost that property without even being asked. Now, when I asked about it, I was told, well, it's a duck roost. Okay, it's a duck roost. Still needs to be managed for waterfowl. Well, there's nothing we can do with it. There's a lot of things you can do with it, even for waterfowl hunting. Well, the property's too small. Great. Do a lottery hunt for one group of hunters. Just have one group that comes out there and does a lottery hunt. And you know what? Why don't we make it a lottery draw for youth? Not on the youth days, but a lottery draw so dads can take their, or uncles and granddads can take their children and go out there and let them have a good quality hunt. If not that, why not have it a lottery draw for veterans, active duty, and or veterans? And you only put out one group, a group of 4 or 5 hunters in that one blind. They can all draw for it. Be great. How about for disabled? If you can only put one group out there, make it wheelchair accessible on a ramp. Don't tell me you can't build a dock. I mean, good Lord, I'm not a carpenter, and I know I can build a dock. Might be a little lopsided, but I can still build one. And use it for a wheelchair for disabled. Let them go out there and hunt. How about for first responder hunts, firemen, EMTs, law enforcement? There is so much you could do on that property that is unbelievable, but yet they gave it away to tourism so we could get the Yankee dollar and they could see what a plantation looked like. Why does DNR have dry years at Hickory Top Green Tree? Good question. Usually about every 4th or 5th year, they will not flood Green Tree. And the reason is to allow grasses and that sort of thing to grow up and to get a good food source. I am all for that, to be quite honest. That is one of the only that's a Cat 2 area, and it's actually, it's not being managed. I wouldn't say it's being managed, but they're semi-managing it by not flooding it that every 4th or 5th year, I believe it is. And they can let trees grow, get through a full season, and dropping acorns, because there's a lot of acorn trees in there, a lot of grasses, your sprangle top and your other natural millets, and even duck potato grows in there. I've seen if you go down in the Green Tree, as soon as you come off the hill and you start to go into Hickory Top, if you look off to your right-hand side, you'll see these big elephant ear plants. That's called duck potato. And ducks love it. Love it. If you got a little spot that you can plant duck potato, because I'm telling you right now, they love it. There's a tuber under there and they will dig it up to get to it. They love it. Absolutely. It's a great duck food. So those elephant ears or duck potato will grow in there. They're not underwater. They'll get bigger, which means they'll have bigger tubers. They'll spread out a little bit. Yeah, that's why they do it, and I'm all for that. I'm all for it. Great question. Great question, Charles. Great question. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I said, DNR doesn't always do everything bad, but come on, we're talking to Cat Ones, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do on those. My understanding is, and I can't verify this, but I was told by someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, that they actually planted the eelgrass in the lakes, and there's the eelgrass is coming up. Santee Cooper may have had a big part in that, and if they did, thumbs up. Eelgrass is a great food source and holds a lot of invertebrates that the ducks need. AZ Highland Homestead, howdy, welcome in. Yeah, great question, man. I love those kind of questions, Charles. Absolutely love them. Give me some mo. Because we're going on 2 hours here very, very shortly. So we got about 4 minutes, guys, and then I'm going to call it a night. But yeah, there it is, guys. I told you I was going to have some new information. I hope that I gave this information out to you correctly as it was given to me. That I shouldn't say correct. I should say I hope I presented it correctly. But we most definitely need to get together. And like I said, Cody, if you're still in here, get with me, dude. I'll be more than happy to get with you, and probably after the duck season, honestly, and we'll try to set something up. It's got to be somewhere middle of the state, dude. It's got to be somewhere where people have access to it. It'll have to be on a weekend to get more people. But like I said, I tried it about 3 or 4 years ago, and I had, out of thousands of people who said they would be there, I had 14, 15 people show up. It was really disheartening. It really was. I was really hoping that we could have started something, something huge. Hey, Ty, what's going on, bro? I didn't know if you were going to make it or not. But that's all I have pretty much for you tonight, guys. Again, we've been on here for 2 hours. My butt is getting sore. My throat is getting dry. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. For those of you that haven't done it already, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button for me. Go watch some videos. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I need your help. I honestly need your help in order to keep this going. They're having that problem in Arkansas with oak trees dying. Yep, they are, but I'll get with you for sure. Yeah, I've heard that, but I haven't seen that to be true. Okay. Yeah, man, I am on Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube. YouTube is my main source. TikTok is just TikTok. I mean, I don't do stupid stuff on TikTok, but or Instagram. Occasionally, I'll put something funny out there, but this is my main source, and I really want. I need y'all's help. I honestly need your help. Put the word out. Tell your friends about it. Tell your friends about me. You know, most of the live streams that we do, or that I do, are usually the kind of like a fireside chat. You know what I'm saying? We just sit down and just chat, you know, and have some fun, like you're sitting at camp and, you know, at a duck camp somewhere, and you're just sitting there chatting. But on occasion, I'll have these type of live streams, and sometimes I have panels up. Most of the guys that I know that would have loved to have been on this panel are out of state. They're out of state. They're duck hunting somewhere. So it was kind of hard to get them in. And of course, I was being kind of controversial tonight. So a lot of guys said, no, man, I don't need DNR coming after me. And I'm like, laughed at them. I said, well, bring them on. I don't care. What are they going to do? Try to follow me through Sparkleberry? They'll never find the landing, number one. Jeff, thank you so much, sir. You take care. Next Monday night will probably be a have fun, just sit down and chat kind of thing. So let me know how you do this weekend. All right. Well, guys, I sure do appreciate y'all being in here tonight. Love having you. Hope to see more of y'all. Come watch some videos, have some fun. Like them, don't like them. I don't, that's fine with me. But anyway, well, I am out for tonight. Y'all take care. Y'all have a great week. Again, duck season starts Saturday here in South Carolina, so be careful out there. Wear your life jackets. Don't shoot beyond your shotgun's capability, and know what's behind that target if you are having to make a water swat. Just be safe out there, okay? All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Y'all take care. We'll see y'all next time on Daddy Duck 365. Good night, all.